Hello, everyone. Apologize for being late. Sorry. Oh, I just got in. I was on the road and I couldn't make it till now. But thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm on, first of all. I can get this here closer. A little smaller. Okay. Hey, guys. Thanks, Amoral Fat, by the way. I thanked you before, but I do appreciate it. If you're here, let me know, guys. Thank you, Flatty. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm a little later than I wanted to be. Apologize. I want to continue my... good evening, Matt. I want to continue my Romitas. But in the meantime, let me show you quick. I have this drawing. I have this inked version of the... Well, this is like the second take on it, so I'm going to have a few more. This is the general idea for one of the covers for my PIGMAN #1 launch, where PIGMAN's taking out these savage jihadists ruthlessly. So that's all I'll show for now. And next time you'll see it'll probably be all colored and all that. So, but yeah, I'm just going to go through some more John Romita Jr. Hail Art. Hail Toxic Dust 13. Trevor. Skull Trevor. My man. So yeah, guys, I'm going to continue through my Romita's folder. It's so many that I don't know if I can go through them all tonight as well, but we'll see. But thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. And I hope you can hear me well. I hope everything is nice and clear without any humming that was happening before. I got some things on my desk, but not many, just a few. I got my glasses, I got my water bottle. That's about it. All right, guys. So yeah, chat away. I'll be catching up with your comments here and there. But we left off here, which is John Romita Jr., issue 241, the opening splash page, where the last issue, yes, I did see that. I think it was in Sweden, Matt. I think Sweden. Did you see that? Matt says, did you see that in Switzerland, folks are putting bacon on Qurans and prayer mats? It's PIGMAN light in real life. Hey, man, the government foisted massive amounts of people who have no experience in civil society and who have among them jihadists. And if this is their protest, hey, so be it. If that's the least they can do, just to show there are protests with this savage culture that we have to knock out of the West. We just have to. They're a live. They're not a live and let live. They're a us or them society. So they have to pay a price for it. They have to be held at bay or kicked out of the West as a group. Individuals, you know, I have Muslim family who are more American than they are Muslim. The only problem I have with them, the main problem I have with them, is that they don't condemn jihad and they don't accept or admit or concede that it is part of Islam, which is terrible. So yeah, I saw that, Matt. I thought it was in Sweden, but might be wrong. So this is where I left off, where John Romita Jr. returned Spider-Man to the black and red costume. With it's mostly black with a little blue highlights. That did go initiated in issue 1, 2, and 3. I think by issue 4 or 5, you could see the blackness started to fade away. And by issue 10 or 12, I think it was all blue at that time. And it was that way for 20 years. John Romita Sr., his entire run was made with the light blue and red. And I don't like that one. Just in terms of, it's more dramatic this way. It's just more dramatic. Fleety said, that's another thing I missed. The old Marvel initial splash page. Yep. I know it's formulaic and dated, but my favorite comics from my childhood all had that, and I just got used to it. Me too. It was great. And you were also looking forward to the artist's second cover, right? The second cover is what they were doing. and also like a not as dramatic maybe as cover, but it's the artist himself. Because sometimes they had different covers, different cover artists, but at least you got a chance to see a big shot from the main guy in there, which was awesome. Art says, "I'm pro weaponized bacon." Hey, ditto. I mean, that's the thing. This is, again, if this is the protest of the people, that's the least of it. I know they're going to try to punish it. I know they're going to try to criminalize it, but in what world is that illegal? In Islamic world. In what world is burning Qurans illegal? In Islamic world, but they try to make it into the civilized world as well. And that's the difference. When you want to call it your world, the Islamic world, what a presumptuous title. Like, we are the Islamic world. You're the other world. It's like, no. We are the civilized world. You want to call yourself the Islamic world? Okay, we'll call ourselves the civilized world. You got the communist world, the Islamic world, and you got the civilized world. Matt, I like the exposed web shooter tip also. Yeah, it's very, very cool. These guys. I don't know if I'm trying to blow up things here. I don't know if you guys see it that way on your end. Probably not. I think I tried the old day. It didn't work. Wingus Dingus says, funny thing to not condemn jihad, but also not accept that it's part of Islam. You'd think if it's not a part of Islam, it'd be easy to condemn. That's the thing. Exactly right. That's a good point, because it's like when you condemn jihad, they condemn you as Islamophobe. It's like, wait a minute. I thought jihad has nothing to do with Islam. Huh. Why are you guys celebrating Hamas? I thought they have nothing to do with Islam, right? And so on and so on. Hey, John. I was late also. Sorry, I was on a road. And it was raining down here, so I had to be not as fast as I normally go. Howdy, Hamilton. Thanks for being, guys. I do appreciate it. I'm going to go through some more of these drones. And let's go. Now, this was John Romita Jr.'s Superman, the splash page, double splash page to his Superman debut with Jeff Johns, and I think it's great. He put clearly a lot more into this and into the face than he did in the run, because he ended up looking more like Punisher at times. But that's an awesome. This splash page is like, it's awesome. It's dramatic, very exciting. The anatomy's good, even though it was stuck with that stupid Jim Lee redesign with the stupid knee pads and elbow pads. Like, what? Why would Superman be wearing that? And then all of the Justice League members wore that? It's like, what? They all got the same tailor? Isn't Superman's costume from his planet and all that? And isn't that the idea? Oh yeah. It was a huge gorilla, like King Kong style. A robot one. It was just very dramatic. Great shot. Great shot. It is a cool pose. Romita had, when he's good, man, he's awesome. He is awesome. Yeah, look at that. I think this was Dark Tower cover by John Romita Jr. Stephen King's Dark Tower. I guess it was a collection of some sort. Evenings, SAH, Stuck at Home. Flea says, that looks great, but still not a fan of that suit version. Me neither, but the action explosive. I don't like that suit. I think it's stupid. And again, they're clearly, paying homage to it with the new Superman suit. Trevor says they all did have the same tailor. Tom Taylor. Ugh, that guy. What an asshole. All these guys. You got the Toms, Taylor, and the other guy. What's his name? Batman writer. Kind of looks like the Shadow. Yeah. I think it's very dramatic. Very, very cool. I think Jansen inked it. Another version of the preview Iron Man drawing art that was at the end of John Romita Jr.'s return 20, 30 years later. Could have been 20 years later. Over 20 years later, I think. His return to Iron Man. Bob Layton inked it, and now this is a new color. I preferred the other color because it showed the black the black space with the stars. Tom King, yes. Stuck at Home. You got Tom Taylor, Tom King, you got the goddamn Toms. Flady1 says that water pooling on his coat is insane. Yeah, let's go back for 1 second if I could find it. Yeah. I mean, he really, I guess he's milking it to some extent. He's making the most of it because people love it. People love his water images. I can get these a little bigger. Okay, good. Not all of them will work that way, but cool for now. It is a crisp Iron Man, Flatey. Okay, John says something's off in the Iron Man picture. I love it. This is John Romita Jr.'s return. Bob Layton inked it. He was supposed to ink the series that John Byrne wrote, but Bob Wiacek ended up inking it, and it didn't make a difference. John Romita Jr. was so strong at that point that it really didn't matter who inked him, except if it was maybe Jim Mooney, who would have fucked it up somehow with his sloppy brush. We saw one of these versions earlier, so... Okay, this was his return to Spider-Man. And again, it's with the big eyes and a lot of lines, but all things considered, he still held the same ideas that his father started, with the symmetrical curves there. The shadow is fantastic. It's Al Williamson. What did Al Williamson use here? It must have been a pen. Just pulling it across, and it's so beautiful because it's not rulered, so therefore it has a human touch to it. And it's still exciting work. Even though I don't like all the excess lines on Spider-Man, he was trying to clearly make it look more modern, stay relevant, quote unquote, by doing it like McFarlane. But I just never quite worked with him because he's too clean an artist to do that. But it is what it is. I think it is, Matt. I think that is the Ben Reilly one. I believe so. Flayed one says, John, the head position, maybe. I like the Nebula look behind the Nebula. Yeah, it was, in the original it was actually detailed, and they put a lot of work into it, all the stars that Bob Layton had to ink, and this color just went right over it. But it looked cool. It's a different look. Let's go for a few more here and there. We saw this already. Damn. Okay, this was Iron Man and Thor. It was Free Comic Book Day, I think. I think that was a short story that he drew. It's cool. Very, very cool. His Iron Man became a little bulky here. A little different design, too. John Romita Jr.'s convention sketch of James Bond. Pretty cool. Looks almost robotic, but I showed this, the black and white one and the one from my portfolio, but the one colored here. Did I show this already? The colored one? I may have. I think I did. I'm going, okay, this is with all the lettering and the font of that same gunslinger image. It's a little sharper here, you could tell. Jansen inked it. Early Iron Man, John Romita Jr. The legs wide apart, John Buscema style. Cool. A little different take. Damn, guys, I'm really repeating myself here. We saw all these. Another Batman. Again, I like the idea of the thicker ears on the side. It's a little too long. And these are pretty short for him because if you guys remember, he did the Punisher Batman, and they were ridiculously large. I know he's trying something different, but another early John Romita Jr. convention sketch. It's very cool. The lines are still where they belong. Okay, where they belong. I'm spoiled. I'm a spoiled brat when it comes to it. Where they belong. Nose, mouth. That's my thinking. 1989, John Romita Jr.? Okay. That's like 6 years removed from his run. When Spidey kicked ass and was virtually unstoppable. That's what it says there. Huh. Yeah, it's true. Check this out. Howard the Duck by John Romita Jr., convention sketch. That's different. That's very different. He also drew Scrooge the Duck. Is that what it's called? Scrooge McDuck? Is that what it is? This is his return to Marvel after years at DC. And he drew Miles Morales with the correct long time lines. The two lines there, but then he drew Spider-Man with the excess lines. It's a good drawing though. It looks pretty interesting, pretty damn cool. Got the Hulk there. Pretty damn cool. Moon Knight, a little too big. But it's a good pencil drawing. Very cool. This was Batman something, one of those Scott Snyder messes that he wrote, which is getting ridiculous. All the different types of dinosaur Batman and stuff. I was like, ugh, really stupid. I guess, a convention sketch of Hobgoblin, which is great. I love the Hobgoblin. Art Haida says, by the way, I did listen to the last show with my nicer audio gear. I could hear every little thing you did on your desk, but ho-hum. But no hum. Fine unless you're easily distracted or bothered. Yeah, I tend to get like that sometimes. I got this thing. It's I forgot what it's called, but years ago, these certain sounds, they just bug me. I try to keep cool about it, but sometimes they just do. And I've clearly might be doing the same things. Damn, those long, flat fingers. Yeah, Flatty. Matt says the FF is great, especially the thing. Yeah, he did a good job with that. His thing's really strong. He did the last... The Rocketeer by John Romita Jr. Pretty cool. He did the last... hello, Tim. He did the last Fantastic Four story with Stan Lee. Check this out. Pretty cool, huh? 2015. Silver Surfer and Galactus. Pretty cool. Okay, I keep showing this one. I guess anyway, but this is the one, the original coloring, which I prefer to the other one because of all the work that Bob Layton did of the stars. They gave me yellow eyes though. I don't know why. If you're gonna color it, like make this in the dark look purple, which is cool. I like that. It's in the shadow. That makes sense. And then that is golden and red. That's more like a cold yellow there, and then we got the warm orange. Please says, just read Spider-Man 261 last night. The reprint is in the shops now with Hobgoblin. With the Ron Friends one, with the family, Osborn family, him kidnapping them. Is that right? Is that the one? Where Spider-Man takes the one of those construction like vehicles and throws it off the building to smash the door down. Let me know, Flatty, because that was cool. That was a good 2 or 3 issue run with the return of the Hobgoblin. Again, this was the John Romita Jr. pencils, inks by John Byrne. I already went through this. Sorry, guys. The Spirit. Look at that. That's very cool. I don't know who inked it, but it's very cool. Yes, Flatty. Okay. She goes into labor at the end of the... okay, yeah, she was pregnant. And Mary Jane was stuck with her, trapped by the Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin was working with, I think, the Rose at that time. I don't know if the Rose popped up at the facility, but he was part of the situation, which was Kingpin's son, at least at one point. I think they had changed that. Another one of the drawings from the French portfolio, John Romita Jr., that they used, that Marvel used as covers. I wonder if they needed his consent for that. I'm just curious, because that was a very exclusive French publisher that got it. John Romita Jr. way early with 1977. Whoa. John Romita Jr. and Al Milgrom, 1977. Wow. Whew, that's a long time ago. He was 19 or 20. Incredible. Okay, yeah. Blue Rose. Was it a different Rose at that point? It may have been. I'm not sure. I just wanted to see the line work here. The ribs there don't quite go. It doesn't quite go. The Romitas together. I think his father was like, damn, son, don't have access lines. Because he resisted. Whenever Romita drew Spider-Man in any capacity after the McFarlane, and I got to say this, it was an editorial edict, because you could tell. Because every single artist on that month that was drawing the Spider-Man comics, whether it was Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, or Amazing Spider-Man, changed from their normal way they drew Spider-Man to the McFarlane way. And even, I guess, Romita at that point maybe conceded to the popularity of it. And then he drew Spider-Man, but he never deviated from the line, nose line, mouth line. He made the eyes bigger, he made extra lines, but he didn't deviate from that until his son did. And it's one thing, John Romita Jr. has been drawn it that way for decades now. It's like, and he, the worst thing about it is that when John Romita Jr. complains about the webs, like, all these webs, like, John, make it the way you used to, when it wasn't that much. Make it like you used to. If you're going to complain about the webbing, make it less webbing. But this is still a hell of a drawing. John Romita Jr., inked by John Romita Sr. And Sr. probably did that to cover up the fact that his son botched the 2-line mark. I'm joking, but part of me isn't. I'm like, he's telling him, son, enough. John Romita Sr., one of those fun drawings I did. One of those fun drawings where everyone looks just right. Very, very cool. Very cool. John Buscema, inked by John Romita. How cool is that? Beautiful. Art says, watch the trailer for DD Born Again. Looks all right. It does. Comes out next month. It does look. The word is that they shot, I think, about 8 episodes, and then Marvel cracked down. They deleted those, basically. They're not going to air those. They fired the showrunners, I think the directors, and started from scratch. Because they understood at a certain point, clearly, that they're fucking around. And they didn't have Foggy, they didn't have Karen, which, fine, but please don't have them cry again that he's Daredevil. Please don't do that. And sure as hell don't have Matt doing that either. Hey, Salty. I did, but let me show you one more time, guys. Just a quick look. And again, this is the more detailed version. It's not the finished version, but it's closer than it was. So give me 1 second. Okay. This is a closer version of it. I got to add some details, but this is... look at the guy's face. It's fun. Pigman terrorizing Jihad. He's also a little bloody, but hey, that's war. Thanks, Salty. It's fun. I'm going to punch it up, do one more run through it, add some details, maybe some weaponry on the bad guys, and then get that colored and posted, and then do the other cover. I got one more cover in mind, and then I just got to work out the details in terms of the extras, and I still got to learn the wording for it all, but I'll get there. It's next week, guys. I'm launching on February 21st. Whether it's alone or on someone's channel, I'll figure it out. I'm just going to launch it on that day. Stuck at Home says, I'm liking the older stuff a lot more. Comics? Yeah, same here. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right. This is Romita inking Buscema. This was John Romita. What was it called? The Fema something? Fema? I forgot. Fema something. It was a very different look of his with the gray wash and interesting stuff, man. Beautiful women. Good stuff. I forgot what it was, though. It was in one of those Marvel magazines, I believe. First time I remember seeing it. It's very different than his usual stuff, which I like a lot. Strong. Very visually strong. It's like he really changed it up for this story. You got Craven with his apes beaten in this old warehouse, it looks like, or his old dilapidated home. It was for a game of some kind, like a physical board game or something, if I recall correctly. I think that's what it was for. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Art says, "Hey, you know that show everyone universally loved? Let's kill Karen and Foggy, make it PG and comedic, and not be canon to what people liked." I know. I mean, that's the thing. Look, have them in there, but again, I couldn't stand when they were, "Hey, Matt, you're gonna be Daredevil." It's like, yeah, you know, too much, whiny. And then him when he's crying, I love the actor. I think Charlie Cox is great, but I think he hated that his character cried, and that's why he did so badly at it. I mean, it's true. He was like, I don't buy it. Interesting coloring here, isn't it? This was. It says Jack Kirby. How Jack Kirby is that? I don't know. It looks like it's Jack Kirby with a touch of Romita, but that coloring is very interesting. Highlighted on the surface parts, different from the other parts. Nice. Interesting. This is a John Romita Superman drawing that they, I guess, repurposed for a cover of John Romita Jr.'s Superman run. It's fine, but god damn it, that suit. Oof. That's a hell of a pose right there. Very strong. And the hands really separated nicely. The feet are really good. Well done here. Everything about this is awesome. And, it's dark blue at least. It's not that light blue. John Reed Jr., Greg Smallwood. Okay, Greg Smallwood, a great artist, colored this. Interesting. Very interesting. You look close, you see the real texture. I think he does a lot of his art digitally. He's an interesting artist, man. He's doing a Batman Conan the Barbarian style comic book that he's writing and drawing, which is interesting. Huh. Could have been a little more dramatic, but it is clearly Vader. Could have made the helmet a little longer, made the face a little different, but it's just cool to see artists interpret. Yeah, that was a corner box that John Romita Jr. penciled and inked. You could tell. He's a good inker for his work. I would love to see him ink an entire issue or series at least. That was one of the corner boxes that they had for his third Iron Man run. Early John Romita Jr., inked by Al Milgrom. Very cool. Could have been his first official issue of Spider-Man with those two midgets who joined forces together. I remember that. And it's you could tell it still has the spirit, the looseness of it. He was a little more, I guess, made Spider-Man a little more agile than his father did, a little more quirky, a little more Ditko-esque than his father did. His father was a little stiffer. His Spider-Man was a little stiffer. Love this. Very, very dramatic shot. Unmasking the Hobgoblin. Love the line work. Love those eyes. They're a little bigger than the way his father did, the white and even the black of it. But still, we got that around the jaw. Perfect line work. Wrapped around. Exaggerated muscle like a Buscema style. You see the shoulder cut, the bicep in there. Really, really separated. Slight hunchback there, but it works. It works. I think I went over this, but man, look at that fist. Look at the perspective on that. Boom, 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 coming around. What a great pose. It was issue 200, where Spider-Man confronted the burglar. I guess at that point he didn't die, like in the movies. They confronted the burglar that killed Uncle Ben. Trevor says the writers are too caught up in the realism, quote unquote, of their soap opera series and not the adventure of a blonde guy that kicks the shit out of the mob. Yeah, that I didn't like that aspect. Great show, believe me, and I love it, and I can rewatch it. they had the Albanian gangs in there also, if you remember, the Albanian mafia. And I understood what the guy was saying, and I know the guy, which is so funny. He was, can't get into some details, but I knew him from years ago, involved with the family. And he ends up, on the Daredevil show as the head of the Albanian mob in prison. And I understood what he was saying in Albanian, which is interesting. I haven't spoken Albanian in so many years that I forgot, but I did recognize it. Yeah. The show was great, but I just didn't like the whininess of Foggy and Karen when they found out he was Daredevil. I guess that's part of they want to make it, but sometimes a forced drama doesn't work. Like there's a show called Chuck, which I really enjoy, a lighthearted, relatively speaking, show about a nerd who becomes like this agent, and he has this thing called the Intercept. Anyway, there's one scene where he reveals to someone that he has this ability and that he's been hiding his true self for years. And the guy responds, "Is that right?" He goes, "That's fucking awesome." And like, that's awesome. That's great. I love that. Instead of him telling, "No, don't do that." It's like, that doesn't really work. Don't do that. I care about you. It's like, yeah, I get it. But I got to live my life. It's like people who know me, yeah, that's very strong right there. Strong stuff. People who know me try to get me away from doing the work that I do. I let them get away. Let me just say that. No one gets to dictate what I do or don't do. I just don't. This is good stuff. This was from the gangsters in the Spider-Man comic, late 90s, I believe late 90s. Fortunato, and I think one of them was Albanian also. It's funny. I met John Romita Jr. years ago, and I asked him to sign something of mine, and he says, "Bosh, that's a cool name. Where's it from?" I said, "Well, my parents were from Albania," and he seemed to have a reaction to it, and he tried to hide it, and it's probably not a good reaction. Let me just say that, because he wasn't as open and friendly after that. Maybe he had some bad experiences. I don't know, but his parents were from his grandfather was from northern Italy, in an area. What was it called? My family said it, but there were a lot of Albanians in that area. And there were a lot of Albanians in New York as well. And believe me, I know they can be rough and tumble. And some of them, the Albanian mob is a little more extreme than the other mobs. Because why? They have a little Islam in them. They're willing to try to prove to the other guys that they're worse than them. And usually that is the case. But I forgot the name of it. It was an area in Italy that more Muslims are at than not. I forgot, guys. I forgot. Sorry, my printer's acting up. It's doing its own cleaning. Not Trapoi. That was in Albania. Anyway. And I was like, damn, okay, something's up. But I love to get a chance. I did get another chance to talk to him 10 years ago, at the Dead Dog Party in San Diego, where you got to know someone who can get in there. Frank Miller showed up. Bill Sienkiewicz was there, and I got a chance to talk to him. I got a chance to talk to a number of people. And John Romita Jr., I bought him a drink and was talking for like 10 to 15 minutes, just telling him how much I appreciate his work. And it was just great. It was great. But let's see. Okay, this shows you the full shot of that suit that he designed. And again, it's a little extreme there, right? It's like Elvis bell-bottom style 1970s as Iron Man. But I still love it. Sorry, guys, this goddamn printer. It's doing its I guess daily cleaning, or every few days, whatever, on its own, which is pretty cool. But anyway, if it's bothering you, I'll just turn off the sound from. All right. Yeah, I still like it. It's a wild design. And if you look at the one, because I think Bob Layton had redesigned something along these lines prior to Romita's return, and he made the boots, but they were very strange looking. They didn't quite fit. Like a big shin area popped off the boot, and this and that. And it was like the boot, it was separated from the feet. And Romita just took this. Now this was later, a few issues into the run, because the first one they weren't as big. But I just like it. It's a very bold look for Iron Man. I don't think he would do it though because of the extra weight, the unnecessary weight. But it worked aesthetically. Yeah, look at that. Love it. Art says not a lot of good barbarian stuff these days. Backed core dress since its closing looks good. Good. That's next on my list. Toxic Dust 13. I don't like his Vader at all. Could do much better. Yeah, I think so too. You got to make it dramatic. You can't just get the pieces right and say, "Oh, that's Vader." That's not enough. Romita can really do it. Can do it well. Simonson did a good Star Wars run. Tom Palmer, I think, knocked off a lot of the Simonson in those issues, unfortunately. But some you could tell when when there was a conspiracy against Vader, and they wanted to kill him. Some of the crew on that ship, which is pretty wild. Ocean View Refugee says Biden killed Uncle Ben Hill. What? Art says, wow, that Kingpin page is fantastic. Great detail on the faces without going too far. If you're referring to the Kingpin page, Flatty One, I love the big chunk. Croatia? No. Toxic Dust 13 is a place. I know it. Calabria. Calabrese. Okay. Calabria, Italy. A lot of Albanians are there. That's why they call them sometimes Calabrese Albanians, meaning they're from Italy. And his grandfather's from there, Romita Jr. And I'm assuming, maybe they kept to themselves. Maybe they were a little rowdy, or maybe they were just rotten. I don't know. So let's just say he didn't have a great reaction to me that first time I met him, and then the second time he was cool. Dioberg says, I wonder if those were Raj 2000 style books giving a nod to John Byrne. Maybe that was what he was doing. Maybe Byrne recommended. Maybe because Byrne did write the scripts to these. Maybe he said, John, maybe try this, a little different look. It's possible. He did have those boots. Interesting. Didn't think of that, but that makes sense. Winnie Zinga says, always thought that this suit looked a lot like Mega Man. I just love it. It's something, I don't know, chunky, weighty about it. Like, I don't know. Again, would he have that extra weight on it? I don't think so. I think, he should get leaner and leaner and leaner from that first suit on. But it's something about it. It's just, it's a powerful look, man. Flatty One says about to Matt, he goes, is that where Conan fought a whole village of werewolves a few issues back? Where's that from, Flatty? Is that in the new Titan Conan books? Because I got to say, if Roberto Della Torre is not drawing it, I'm not getting it. And it's unfortunate. And I know I shouldn't be like that, I guess, because the stories might be good, but I get spoiled, I do. I'm like, that guy is the closest we've gotten to John Buscema. And he retains his own style. The women are beautiful. Conan looks great and a little meatier than the Buscema's version. And it's great. And the inking's great. He inks it himself. And the color's great. And the stories were good. But damn. Art says, is that the current run, Matt? I heard it's good. Matt says, yeah, there were 6 issues of SS last year, supposed to continue this year. Sort of SS. John says his legs look second. His torso looks 3D. I think that's what bugged me about the Iron Man. I just like the way he built it, because you could tell that his waist was going one way and then his legs went the other way. And it was, again, he takes these risky poses sometimes, Romita Jr., I admire him for it sometimes. It doesn't always work. But I like the fact that he tries to knock it out. He tries a little different. I was just looking through some of his Daredevil that Ann Nocenti wrote. Same thing there. Really interesting stuff, man. An interesting look that he gave Daredevil. He got a little lean at one point. He got bigger, a little back and forth. Flady says the current run of Iron Man is trash. I grabbed number 4 this weekend. Not a fan of. I can't remember the last time I got Iron Man. I just can't. Great character, but god damn it. Art says back in the Game Boy Advance days, someone finally made the obvious connection and made an Iron Man game in Mega Man style. Is that right? Funny. Flady says issue 6 with The Witch was great. Bosch Titan is doing 2 Conan series, the floppy and oversized black and white magazine titled Savage Sort of Conan, like the old Marvel ones. Interesting. Do you know if Roberto Della Torre is going to come back at any point? Because I've been looking. I haven't seen. Dougie Braithwaite drew some stuff, some other artists, and I'm just, again, if the standard is going to be Robert Della Torre, I gotta at least get someone comparable, because no one is quite getting there in terms of quality. He's that good. And it's unfortunate. I love Conan. Check this out. A pretty cartoony version of Punisher by Romita. That's so funny with that, chest out as far as it can be. The neck's coming from his back almost. But it's pretty cool. Another Punisher cover. His Punisher was brutal, man. Really good. He did end up doing my favorite Punisher. I loved Gordon Parlow's Punisher. For some reason, though, he made his hands small. It's even when they were going forward, he made his hands small. I don't get it. He was a good Punisher. But John Romita Jr.'s version is the most brutal looking, the most beaten, ground. Look at this. John Romita Jr., Al Williamson for the Man Without Fear series. Issue 4, I think. And this is, people said, oh, he makes the best knees. Those are great knees. I mean, going there and down and up and down. Look at the ink work. That's some strong stuff from Al Williamson. A little thicker than he normally did. Again, he must have used some kind of markers and pens at times. I just love this little separations of the fingers, the joints, the knuckles, and great stuff. Great stuff. This is John Romita Jr. 3 years ago when the return of another relaunch of Spider-Man, which we're at what, 7 now? It's like, guys, you should be proud of the history. It's 1,000 comics at this point. Be proud of it. Just because for a while they were having twice a month for a while, different artists, so they were able to do that. Back and forth. It got up to issue 900. Now I think 1,000 coming up. And then, of course, what they do, these hacks at Marvel, is when they get to that milestone, hey, let's call it 1,000 and then go back to issue 1 again. Stupid. It's okay. I just, I don't know. This is pretty good, actually. The storytelling here. His scenery is very good. The everyday stuff is very good. His Peter's better here than it ended up being in some of those comics, so that's pretty damn good. And since he brought the black back on the costume, 1982 or 3, it's never left. You've not seen the light blue and red. It's always been black. Even the McFarlane thing, at least he kept that part. The dark versions of that. This was Tombstone, which I didn't like. I prefer the skull head looking Tombstone. I think someone here mentioned that he was a black albino, but still, give him that nose. It makes him look more like a villain, like a supervillain. If he's an abuse supervillain, make him look like him. Don't make him look like some, average guy. Typhoid Mary. I wonder if this is a convention sketch. That's what it looks like to me. That's pretty good. I remember they showed Cap versus Black Panther, and of course, Black Panther kicked his ass. It's like, yeah, sure. Oh, well, he has powers, yeah. Cap is, that's interesting. That's a recent one. I think the black on the suit is different than the way Romita used to, because Romita used to do like blotches, which was really effective, that Al Williamson inked. Another convention sketch, pretty good. That's cool. He made Mary Jane look pretty. Cool. About time. I wonder what this is. Iron Fist, I guess, with Spider-Man eyes. I wonder where this is from. I don't even know. Ron Friends, inked by Romita. And of course, it looks like Romita, but it looks great. Let's see. Trevor, I was a big fan of Mike Zeck Punisher, but you're right. Jeremy Jr. drew the Punisher with grit. He really did. And Mike Zeck, while he started off that series incredibly, right, when he was in prison, as it went on, it was less and less finish, less and less shadows, and that great shadows that he gave. He's a guy who needs his time. I don't think he's good for monthlies. I think he started with the Captain America run for a while and then was thrown to Secret Wars, where he couldn't finish that either. Again, which is fine, but Bob Layton filled in, nowhere near as good. And then, like, the last issue was like a smorgasbord. You got Art Adams inking a page. You could tell it's Art Adams, too. You got everyone doing something. It's like wild. And the suit that Mike Zeck had was the old one with the white boots and stuff. You can't go around like that. Not the Punisher. White boots, white gloves. No. I know that's a classic costume. It's not good. I think the skull. That's about it. He wants to be a little discreet. White boots. I don't know. You look at the wrong way. Some women will be wearing that. It's like, it's a little off. But yeah, I did. I love Mike Zeck but he needs his time. That first issue of Secret Wars was great. You look at it, and then you go on like, okay, I think he was cutting some corners. The shadows weren't as great because he's a great shadow guy. He does some great shadows. I think he maintained the quality though for that Craven story. I think he maintained the quality throughout. And Bob McLeod inked it. And I don't remember a letdown on that in terms of it was consistently good. Art says, I feel like John Romita Jr. pays extra attention to the anatomy when drawing Daredevil. I think so. I think it's he still has it in his head that that's the greatest thing he ever did. And that's cool. But, you should try to, I don't know, maintain it, keep it going. Try to live up to that. Flatty one says Tombstone needs a flat top haircut always. Yeah, the flat top and that upturned nose with the nostrils, like a skull. That's his look. And I was looking through some of the Sal Buscema. Sal Buscema, I think a few of us were going back and forth. It was the best version. It was it looked the strongest version. I wish he used that one because again, it just looks just like a guy. That's it. Art Haida says that trailer for the World War II Marvel game ends with Captain America and Black Panther about to go at it. I wonder how they'll handle it this time. Huh. Hail Stormtrooper, Julius Caesar. Trevor says, yeah, the Punisher needs a tactical look, but he needs the bulk. Yeah, because he's, he might, at any moment, he's not always going to have his weapons. He might be captured and stuff, so he's got to put the hurt on people. And it can't be just some guy. He has to be big. Yeah, John, it is. This is Ron Friends and John Romita Sr. Toxic Dust 13. Punisher was like an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I know he knows Fury. This is a little softer version of the one that John Romita Jr. did years ago that his father inked. I prefer the one that he did on the other one. It's a lot more dramatic, a lot stronger. Let me just show you that one in contrast to this. This. Look at that. Angled to the side. Really strong hair. And then this one is just a softer version. It's not a better version. It's fine. But the face like that, a little weak. You know. Not as much of an angle, not as much aggression. Another range shot. John Byrne inking John Romita Jr. again. How cool is that? You can see it. You know, you can see it. You can say, okay, I see it. I see it at least. The hands on that robot looks like Terminus almost. Similar look. A dark agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. White boots and gloves. Yeah, I guess they had that as well, didn't they? The S.H.I.E.L.D. It's just a stupid look. White boots, honestly. It doesn't look good. It's like, I don't know. Great images here. Look at this. John Romita Jr. extracted from some of those issues he did with Anisenti. I think that was the first one. 250. I think it was 250. I think that's what it was when John Romita Jr. entered Daredevil. And then this was later on when he was in hell, like 280 something. This is the one where he was with Spider-Man. Peter Parker was on a bus in a small town, I think, at one point. How cool is that? Again, that very unique line work by Williamson has to be pen. If it was a brush, it's a pain in the ass to get it that consistent. Again, it's not rulered, so it has that awesome, natural, slightly imperfect look that only the hand can do. Look at this. Romita, Captain Britain, Captain America. That's awesome. That's very cool. Very heroic. Good builds. Romita again. Sweet. Trevor says, probably why my favorite movie Punisher is Ray Stevenson. Yeah, next would be Bernthal. The rest are too pretty. 100%. Those two are the best. You're right about that. He needs the don't fuck with me look. He can't be a pretty boy. He needs the turn the other way look, where most people will just look away when they see him. Bernthal has probably the better face because Ray Stevenson was a little too handsome. Even though he played a good, dirty, Frank, Bernthal he doesn't have the size of Stevenson. Stevenson was, in terms of size, the biggest, the best. No doubt about it. Good voice also. Bernthal doesn't have that kind of voice, but he puts it on and it works. And he's very committed to it. He's also gonna come back for Daredevil Born Again. That's why, look, all the actors are there. The guy who played Bullseye was great. He's going to be there. Everyone's going to be there. I just hope. Yeah, this is fun stuff, man. These are all, it's all women. All women. I guess Romita painted this. I prefer the line work version. But it's pretty cool still to see it this way. You got the Wasp coming. I didn't see her before. Now I see her. Red Sonja looks different from the drawing to here, big time. I think she looks better in the color version, I guess. You got Hella back there. Like, what the? That's pretty cool. Great cover, man. John Romita Sr., that's a great cover. Look at this. All the characters are in here. All the major characters except for Aunt May. Look at that. Oh, look at this beautiful stuff here. Beautiful. He does, Trevor. The best. I think The most beautiful women in comics, the most glamorous, the most handsome men in comics. Even the villains have a attractive quality about them. Even the Kingpin did. Interesting. I don't know. Got all these different colors. You got the original black and white art here. That's the original page. You got this. Okay, it's the same color. It's just sharper and brighter. This is great. Great Luke Cage by Romita. It's fantastic. Look at those mitts. So awesome. If Ison was like that, it's like, okay, now we're talking. But he's not. This is great. This was a story idea by John Romita Jr. Gave it to Anna Senti. She wrote around it. Daredevil at a bar ends up swapping spit with Mephisto, who's portrayed as a woman in this, an ugly woman. Doc Brewski, hey Doc, that's top-notch stuff right there. It is. Lux, hey Lux, evening Bosch, evening all. Looking forward to the launch. Thank you. Me too. I'm very excited. It's been a while, a long time coming, but I think I'm ready to go. Now, the colors fucked this all up, but man, that's a hell of a Daredevil. It's not too good at Typhoid Mary. Kingpin's fine, but that's a great Daredevil. Awesome. Look at that line coming down. That's awesome. A little lean, but still, that's fine. Very, very good Daredevil. The rest, not so much. Shotgun, Bullet, I think. Kingpin. That face and Typhoid Mary is not that good. But everything else is good. If you take those things out and have a real colorist color it, it's awesome. Because what the hell is this? I don't know. Blotchy shit, yellow with brown. Green buildings. Ugh. I want this in black and white pure and knock out the others. And have the Williamson line work. Beautiful. This is good too. Even though another fuck up job by the colorist. Look at this. Just pooped it out there. Look at Daredevil. All red, even his face. Come on, guys. What the hell? Terrible art. Now, I don't like some of the modern art where they try to, there's a term for it, where they get into every little crevice and texture too much. No. But this is horrific color. That's good, Punisher. Very good. It's with the white gloves, isn't it? It is. And probably the white boots, which are ridiculous. Gene DeWolf. That really good story, The Death of Gene DeWolf by Peter David and Rich Buckler. Rich Buckler, he really kicked ass on that. It was somewhat of a comeback for him to Marvel. And it was good. Bob McLeod inked some of those issues. And it was a good story. And Spider-Man was really affected by her death. This was John Romita Jr., inked by Jim Mooney, who, indifferent, slopping up his brush there. I think we saw this. I think we did. This is 2022. A raggedy Peter Parker, but I just love the whole setup here. Look at this. It looks like you're here. It doesn't look realistic per se. It's stylized, but still, there's something about it. I like the quality. We saw this, man. I'm sorry, guys. Am I? Okay, not all this. No. So, okay. Didn't see these, I don't think. This was John Romita Sr. clearly over Gil Kane. I will bet on it. You could tell the musculature of Kane at times. And at least he's not doing a weird, quirky, hey guys, look at my pose. At least he's not doing that. He's a little too much with that. He's a little fruity with that. Let's see. All right, so I still don't know what Ison's powers are. I know, no one does. He can survive being thrown on cars. We know that. Yeah. Flatty art. He flattens cars. It's very lucrative. Wingus Dingus, the yellow-orange light isn't a bad idea, but that is really weird execution. Yeah, it could look. You put any great colorist, he could work with some bad colors, but that's just blotchy shit. It looks like crap. It looks like poop and pee, yellow and brown. On Daredevil? No. Toxic Dust 13. Iceman is a lazy comic, to put it very lightly. Yeah. It's not art. It's pure commerce. It's, let me make a buck here. Let me cash in on my audience, and let me try to do what Comicsgate's doing, but show them up by having it on time, having shit on time. And he calls it my shit, my shit. Noir's going to call their work shit. Ketchup Mustard Man, yeah. That Aunt May isn't nearly old enough. Are you joking, or because she looks old to me there? But I don't know. Flayed One says, "Is that Flora Spark in the back trough of that Spider-Man 2022 page?" It's funny. Flayed One says, "Ground trough." Auto incorrect, I call it. Not a good scan, but this is John Romita Jr., Bob Wyacek, the John Byrne story. I think it's great. Very strong stuff, man. This is John Romita Jr., Spider-Man, Captain America. I don't know what this is from, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like it. Looks fun. Another Batman style. Pretty clean and simple. Forge. Very cool. Nice. This is from the Handbook of the Marvel Universe, whatever it was called, by John Romita Jr. and Joe Rubinstein. It's very good. He never, I don't think he drew, at least in his initial run, he didn't draw Dr. Octopus. He drew a female version at one point. Not as good. I like this. This is a recent drawing of Wolverine by John Romita Jr., Scott Hanna. Good stuff. Look at that. The Inhumans, Ultron, Daredevil, the Anacenti story. It was weird, man, I gotta say. Quirky. I stuck around for the art. If you had a lesser artist draw this series, people call it a classic. Honestly, some of those issues, what the hell? What's Daredevil doing there and all that? It was like, what's going on here? But this is great stuff. It's great stuff. He drew a great Inhumans. Dan Green, ink and John Romita Jr. That angle is beautiful. It's so good. That line work, the stylization of the eyes. Love this. Look at that. Pulling onto that mask in a darker room. That's a nice line there too. He uses brushes when he inks. It's really nice. You could tell there's at ease with that brushwork. Dan Green, it's awesome. He's a painter. That's the guy who gives Kenneth Connell, if I remember the name correct, the Star Brand, and then he wants it back at one point. This was a ROM splash page that John Romita Jr. and I guess here it says Marie Severin, I guess, inked it. So he was initially supposed to do that, and I think Sal Buscema ended up doing it. That's pretty cool. I liked ROM. I guess this is John Romita Jr. Is this? It has to be, because I wouldn't have it in this folder, but I don't know. It doesn't really look like him. Looks like an action figure. It looks like Sal Buscema, maybe. Damn, guys, I'm repeating a lot of stuff. Yeah, this was Romita trying to appease some of the editors to make it a little more like Mafrone. If you notice, a little bigger eyes, more lines. But he said, fuck that, guys. I'm going to retain my my line work here, even though the second circle doesn't connect. Interesting, but he said, no, I'm going to keep it that way. Good for you, John. Don't let him dictate to you. This was John Romita Jr. and BM, I don't know. Bob McLeod. What if Spider-Man had rescued Gwen Stacy? Cool. Black Widow. 1986, Dallas. I guess someone want to do this. Interesting. This was Mark Silvestri's character. That's an interesting look. Trevor says Isom doesn't know what his powers are. Eric doesn't know what his powers are. The Saskas haven't told him yet. Hilarious. Wingising is, I need Aunt May to look 1 million years old. Well, that's the way Ditko, drew her. He really did. He drew her very old. Doc Brewski, Eric July sells merch, not art and stories. Now I'm in it for the art. Yeah, whether it's the storytelling or the visualization of that story. Wingistinger says, I'm being tongue-in-cheek, but I do think she should look old and decrepit enough that you can believe Peter would need to worry about getting her medicine while he's fighting Doc Ock over. I get it. Yeah. Yeah, there is that factor. Also, terrified if she finds out who he is, she'll have a heart attack. He was always worried about that. Trevor says, Ron was fun, but the art was way inconsistent. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of different artists filled in. Ditko did it for a while as well. P. Craig Russell was inking him for a time. And it's so, because Rom ended up having a lot of superheroes guest star, except for one superhero. Except for one. So you never got a chance to see an older Ditko draw Spider-Man. He did come back to Marvel. It seems like he was skirting Spider-Man at every turn. No matter what issue he did, what comic he did, he never drew him again regularly. But he did draw him years later, in the 2000s even, to make the point that it's a co-creation, not just a creation of Stan Lee, because Stan Lee was a credit monger. He was trying to take full credit for Spider-Man. That's out of line, way out of line. Mike says that kind of looks like the pick Liefeld drew for Tucci. This one? Someone's playing some loud music here. Sorry, guys. Art says, wow, wasn't expecting to see Jeremy Jr. take on Witchblade. That's what it was, Witchblade. Isn't that Mark Silvestri's character? I didn't expect it either. I was a little surprised. I wonder what commission? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that. It looks like another convention sketch that someone took it upon themselves to color. They added their name on there. Yeah, this is a classic. The origin, well, at least the first issue. I guess origin to some extent. You just didn't know who he was yet. But the Hobgoblin. That's so good. John Romita Jr., John Romita Sr., and Roger Stern wrote it. Issue 238. It's great. And you could tell that the guy who was, Roderick Kingsley, who ended up being, but he was ruthless. He killed that guy cold-blooded who knew about where they found all of the goblins' old stuff. He killed him without a second thought, so no one else would know. That was great. Toxic Dust 13 says his powers are he's strong and learning to fly by falling on cars. It's so bad. John Romita Jr.? Wait, John Romita drawing the Hobgoblin. Interesting. John Romita. Huh. I've seen him draw the Hobgoblins. It was better than this. That's a strange Iron Man for John Romita Jr. Usually makes him appealing as hell. Here he looks like dead-eyed. Down. Huh. Look at this. Tony Stark. What is that? I don't know what it says there. 20? I don't know. Not 90, but interesting. Lamborghini or something along those lines, or maybe even a Starkmobile. Who knows? Captain Marvel that he co-created with Roger Stern. Annual number 16 or 15. I forgot exactly. He penciled it, Romita Jr., that issue, and his father inked it. That was their first, I believe, that was their first collaboration. I believe so. Document, yeah. I guess that's Harlequin, I think. Not that good. I didn't like that thing look at all. This cover's not that good. Is it Jeremy Jr.? I don't know. What's up with that Wolverine? That kick is not that... It's a strange way to be. I don't know. The man thing. Not that good. I like this. Cap. He was trapped in this other dimension for years. Raised a boy. Like his Robin in there. Lamborghini Lambo. Art says, wow, he made the Iron Man helmet have a great reflection with just a few lines. You're talking about the one that we just showed? Yeah. I didn't like it as much, but the line work was good. It was Scott Hanna inked it. Dead Air says, I remember that Tony Stark was in a Marvel magazine. Okay. A double page spread, I guess, right? There's Romita Jr. drawing Hobgoblin again. 2022. Yep. DJ Grave Mix, the thing looks like a pine cone. I didn't like that turn. I understand they want to change it up every so often. That's pretty cool, actually. Ears aren't that long here. That's pretty cool. It's funny that this looks more like a Jansen pose and drawing than it does John Romita Jr., but I know this is John Romita Jr. as inked by Jansen, but that looks like a full Jansen, except for the Batman. You could tell it's John Romita Jr. there. Everything else looks like Jansen. Another of those cards that Marvel had, 1991. That's great. That jaw's a little big, but you know it's good. That's some good work for a card. Very good. Another one here. Daredevil Worst Camp in 1991. Very, very cool. Another one. Damn, there was more than I remember. There was at least 4, along with the Punisher one. 5 now. Look at this. That's very good. For a card, that's a lot of work there. That's very good. That's funny. MODOK. That's a good MODOK. I like it a lot. It's funny looking. Will those legs even work to carry himself, or does he float around? I guess he floats around. Kickass. Was this Kickass? It looks like Kickass because Tom Palmer lays it on so thick with those inks that, however thick he is though, because sometimes you couldn't tell if it was the artist, Tom Palmer himself, penciling and inking, or a different artist. But here you could tell it's John Romita Jr. clearly, still, even though it's buried under the Tom Palmer inks. But it worked, actually. It worked for Kickass. This is interesting. Slogter of Globzor. This is funny. 2003 John Romita Jr. I don't know what this is. It looks funny. Wildstorm. Colorist Wildstorm. 2003. What was this for? I don't know. Wildstorm, he did work for... Wildstorm was that the colorist? Wildstorm colorist? Isn't the name of one of the Image Guys companies? Interesting. John Romita Jr. Lost a whole human look there. Boom, boom. Let's do that. Shooter. Jim Shooter signed this too. John Romita. Okay, John Romita Jr. and John Romita. I see. Hulks. Was the Hulk and his son? Is that what this is? I think he had a son. Scar or something. Huh. That's pretty good. Gambit. Trevor says, see that rougher line that Romita uses is awesome. Everyone tries to slick him up. Yeah, they do. They really do. That's why I want to see him ink himself so he doesn't have to bother with that. He can lay it down the way he wants, the way he sees it in his own mind, and give us the pure Romita Jr. That's what I want to see. Childhood diabetes awareness ad? Maybe. I don't know. The guy, he's slopping it up. That's interesting. It's like the movie version. The initial one with Tobey Maguire, that kind of lighting at least. This is I guess that's Sean Chen. Was that his name? Every face looked the same though. I mean, look at this. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. What the hell, man? Max E. Miller says, John Romita Jr.'s profiles are really good. That MODOK, I'm thinking of his hobgoblin from your previous stream. Yeah. That MODOK is actually very good. Interesting. I guess this is John Romita Jr. and Scott Hanna, but John Romita and his son both signed it. This was early John Romita Jr. Look at this. Kidnapped. Adapted from a classic novel by Robert Louis Stevenson. Interesting, huh? Romita Jr. and Pablo Marcus. I would not have thought that this is Romita, but looking at it, the legs separated as much as they are, like a Buscema style, I guess so. Interesting. Another one. These are very old. He was a kid. 1920. Look at this. Errol Flynn style. This is more like John Romita Jr. right here. I must have come across it a while back. I was like, wow, I was very surprised. I'm all surprised, hearing, seeing all these early stuff. Like, Frank Miller wrote an issue of Spider-Man with the Purple Man. And it was like one of his first stories. It wasn't that good. You could not see in there what was coming. But I guess they gave him a shot. And it didn't completely fuck up. So they said, okay, we'll give you another shot with Daredevil. I think he only wrote it. If I remember correctly. I forgot which one it was. A Daredevil cover rough by John Romita Jr. left is substantially transformed in the final version right as inked by Al Williams. Of course, this is an old cover, but since we didn't have a new one, we thought you'd enjoy this. Yeah. I like the texture more here than here. I think they felt maybe Daredevil got lost in there, but it's still good. I like the texture a lot, actually. That's Mephisto. Another this again. Sorry, guys. This is cool. Kickass. And I guess he's doing a Kickass Wolverine series with Mark Millar, which is strange because Mark Millar had recently advertised the fact that he's going to have the most controversial thing he ever did. He goes, no one else is doing it. It's going to be the most controversial thing. And then he announces Wolverine and Kickass. Controversial? Where? In what world is that controversial? I don't know. So I asked him, I said, is it going to be about jihad? I hope it is. You want to talk controversial? Huh. Art, imagine birthing a Hulk. Baby doesn't kick. He smash. That's right. He smashes the mother. Thanos versus Thor in that run. Romita Jr., damn, that's a... Once you establish the Punisher as like a monster, like a Hulkish style, you can't go back and do this. Come on, John. This is nothing compared to what he ended up looking like in that Punisher Warzone series. Dean White, I believe his name was Dean White, a colorist who redid a lot of the classic covers for some of the Masterwork editions. This is one of them as well, issue 50. First appearance of the Kingpin, I believe. Maybe he was alluded to in issue 49, but he made his first official appearance in this issue. And this is the original cover. The guy did a good job of taking the elements. I mean, it looks just like it. It's just painted. However he does it, because the line work is completely knocked out here. But it's really, really, really done well. That's awesome. Romita Jr. tried to pay a tribute to it, but no. The big eyes, all the bullshit lines. Hunchback there, really. More so than this. No, the Peter Parker's not as good either. Damn. Reposting these things a little too much, guys. Sorry. Typhoid Mary, I guess. This I love. This is good. This is like, okay. And there was a Chuck Dixon, John Buscema, penciled and inked Punisher where he did, if not box, he was fighting barehanded with these guys, I think. That's what it reminds me of. That's a brutal face, man, but it works. It works. It's like it was damaged and never really healed. And the lighting is fantastic. The shading, the overhead light, everything else underneath is a little shaded. And the black of the costume is very good. This is good as it is. I think inking will only damage it. If you get maybe a good ink, like Terry Austin might do something great with this, because it'll make it look like that old Popeye style. Okay. Those legs, man. This is the pencil version of the one I showed earlier. That honker is just a little too much off his face. Dan Green inked John Romita Jr. again here. Again, he had a little larger white than his father's eyes, but I love the stylization of the eyes. He always made the top thicker as if it's a brow over the eyes and curved. Goes up and curved there and sharp. And thicker here, thinner here. And that was his take. That was his contribution to it. He used the basic setup of his father. But he stylized it a little more. His movements, his poses were a little more Ditko-esque than his father. Look at this. The body is fantastic. Everything fits just right. The musculature is great. The line work is fantastic. Everything. That's the upside down version. Look at that. That's just great. Just right. That's still... This one looks like, again, looks so real. Like a guy is in a Spider-Man suit just turning his head a little. It's very, very well done. He draws everyone great here. Look at this. Great Iron Man, great Thing, Cap. But that Spider-Man, the cylindrical lines, the symmetry. It goes there and then wraps in there. It goes out there and wraps in there. Here it's a little more close-knit because it's more foreshortened and so on. The head, like a cylinder as well. It's awesome. Art says that Punisher might work if his legs weren't so scrawny. Yeah, very different though. Yeah, it was not a good one. Love this. Very great weight on his body. It's just great. Huh. The kid's dreaming himself. I can dream, can't I? As Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man showed him some respect. Protected him from... This is Kane and Romita. That's what it is. Gil Kane, Romita. Man-Thing. That's pretty effective. Look at that. Interesting. Good texture work there. This is a great Colossus by Romita. This is pretty recent from what I gather. That's really good. And again, I want to see him ink this also. It'll be awesome because here it's ready for those inks. He made the lines thicker in some areas. Took his time to make the details here. The face is good. Very good. Yeah, look at that. From Punisher Warzone. Probably, yeah, issue 5. Where Shotgun comes at the last second. And a Punisher tells him, if you're here to kill me, you better hurry. You got less than 30 seconds. Look at that. He was brutalized by the mob. Tied up to a car. About to be blown up. He was undercover as some kind of a Goomba. Too busy for my taste. Maybe that was a later design. Look at this. That's his Mephisto. I don't know. Yeah, it is his. Yeah, okay. Death's Head. I don't remember seeing this one. Not at the time, at least. Look at that. Marvel Comics UK. This is where he started, and this is years later. We're talking 90s for sure. 90s for sure. It doesn't say when. Loved his Mephisto. Look at this. Like a lizard. This is really strong stuff. Very different than his usual stuff. Looks a little like Michael Golden there. All this right here. Interesting. That's really good, man. That's really good. Look at that. This is a penciled and inked by John Romita Jr. He could do, look, he can kick ass in his inks. Look at this. Doesn't cut the corner either. He puts all that hair, Wolverine. You put it on the biceps, though. Usually you don't do that on the biceps. You put it forearms for sure, a little here, but biceps, not so much. But that's a great Punisher. It's a great Ghost Rider. This is really good. Huh. Hulk. World War Hulk, maybe? Kitty Pryde meeting Jubilee. She's clearly older at this point. This is a great Cool and Goth in that X-Men 2-part story. Cool and Goth took over New York and he turned it into the old ancient times. Yeah, that is a cartoony Ghost Rider. Yeah, this was 287. I think I went over this already. A surprise issue that John Romita Jr. did. Now, I don't want to repeat myself here, guys, but it looks like I am. We saw all this. Okay. I think we go here now. Look at this. Man Without Fear. It says here Man Without Fear #1, but that wasn't #1. That was the final issue. That was a splash page for the final issue or the cover. I don't think it was a cover, though. That's great. It's great. John Romita Jr., Al Williamson. It's fantastic. And they took this and ran with it on the TV series on Netflix, the streaming series for a bit. This is great stuff. Strong. The line work is very, very good. The dirt, the blood. Good stuff. The Sentry versus Hulk. It's a very good Hulk, man. Kirby-esque. Short nose, big forehead, short chin, long upper lip. Definitely works. Good line work here by Romita. Love this cover. Love it. Make our day or something you said on there. Was trying to echo Dirty Harry. Want to mess with us. This was a recreation, I believe. John Romita Jr. and Bob Layton. Not that good. Not that good. Because look at this. That would be here. It wouldn't be his full torso there. I mean, the hip right there, and then have leg popping out here out of nowhere. Not that good. The face isn't that good. Nah, probably the original was better. Now this is a good. This is a good recreation. Romita Jr. and Bob Layton. That's a good recreation. I wonder if they did the entire cover and color it and everything. I don't know. I'm assuming that that's what they do because it looks at this. You look like this is probably color placed on the actual drawing itself, guys. A little blurry here, but I like the way he drew a black costume. Short story they had. Bruce Wayne, Batman. Some moments were good. That's pretty good. I like it because it's really thick from the side. You see it goes from this part there. I like that. And it's not that long here, which is always good. Just going through this, guys. I don't know how much more. Let's see. Still got a nice number. If you guys are checking out, you guys aren't writing too much here. Maybe you guys want to call a night. Just let me know. It's been an hour and a half. Some kind of merchandise that John Romita Sr. did. 1984. Designed for Jim Robinson. Roller skate toy. This is great. John Romita Jr. in his Daredevil run. Dr. Doom, some reason, sends Ultron into that town that Daredevil's hiding out in. Acts of Vengeance, I think, maybe. A little tie-in with that. Where the villains were throwing each other at their own heroes, like Kingpin. Whereas the Maybe Doctor Doom would go for Daredevil, and Kingpin would go for FF. I don't know how he would do that, but this is good stuff, man. A lot of work here. Look at this. The machinery is fantastic. Al Williamson, bring it. It's great. The Eternals. That's pretty good. I like this. That's a nice World War Hulk, I think. This is really good. John Romita Jr., Dan Green, an issue cover of the X-Men. It's pretty popular. I think this pose, I like it. John Romita Sr., Superman. This is better than the other one that they showed. It's still not great, though. The face not great. You would assume he'd do, a better job. He'd make him more handsome. But again, maybe there's a bias there, right? He's a Marvel man. He's a company man, so he can't make Superman as good looking as he makes all these other heroes, like Matt Murdock here. That's funny. This is pretty good here. Amazing Spider-Man number 505. Romita Jr., nice. A lot of work here. Very nice. Huh. Best wishes to, I can't see it, Jerry Margolini. John Romita. That is fun. Look at that, guys. Sherlock Holmes. That's great. Look at that. No, Trevor, he never did. They repurposed a drawing he made and colored it and put it on one of the Superman comics that John Romita Jr. Drew. He never did that. He never did a Batman. I've not even seen. I've seen Batman by John Buscema. We had that alternate version of Superman. What if Stan Lee created Superman? Remember that? Not that good. The art was great, but the suit, I don't know what was going on there. Those gloves, it was weird looking. He never did Superman. He did very little for DC, superhero-wise at least. Maybe he did some romance comics, maybe if they had published them. Look at this. Spider-Man, Rock Reflections of a Superhero. John Romita. Painted cover. Pretty cool. You could tell he looks very athletic, Peter Parker. Even with the clothing on, but here, look at his thighs, huge. He's actually a lot bigger here. He became as big as Superman Batman by the 70s. That's why Marvel and DC put him together with the Superman. They were like the two biggest icons at that moment. This is fun stuff. Romita Sr. at the table. All these characters he drew. Our founder. It's funny. This is the cover to The Art of John Romita Sr. Even though it might have been called John Romita, and him and his son got in, I think, a funny argument, a fake argument on one of those videos where he goes, I'm John Romita, okay? You're just, it's pretty funny. Because I'm not John Romita Sr., I'm John Romita. Pretty funny. This is really good. I like the outline. I like that a lot. I thought about doing that for the cover I'm doing right now. This is early Romita. Look at this. Zakharin and Romita. Very early Romita. Look at this. This is 1950s John Romita, Captain America, and I got the collection. Someone actually mentioned that Marvel had it in the 50s. The 50s Marvel, I think they call it. A romance comic. First appearance of Mary Jane, who Peter kept shoving off. Didn't want to meet the niece until he sees her. He's like, holy shit. Look at this. This is really good stuff. This is issue 50, I believe, where he gives up being Spider-Man. Good stuff. And there was a time where Jack Kirby was doing it, and I guess Romita was doing it, where it was only a handful of panels on those pages. Jack, there was a time where it was like 3 or 4 panels. for a little while. It wasn't always the case for every page, but for a lot of them it was. Like, look at this, 3 pages. That's very rare. But it was like a thing at that time. This is interesting. John Romita Jr., Mr. Freeze, Joker, Two-Face. I don't know who that is. Bane, Penguin. Is that Killer Croc? I don't think so. It doesn't look like him. I don't know where this is from. John Romita Jr., Uncanny X-Men. Good stuff. Dan Green inks. Very good. X-Men 185, I think, with Rogue. Rogue is on the cover. Storm's down. I think she's holding her. Another, I showed this already. John Romita Sr., a special bicentennial issue. Trevor says there was that whole period that all the bullpenners headed to DC. Did they? Except for Romita. I mean, I don't think, because he was the art director for a while. Trevor says Ditko just checked out of all that and went to Charlton. Yeah, he did. Trevor says, wait till Jeremy Jr. has a son. He can be JR. He does have a son. Maybe a couple, but for sure one. That's funny. That will be very funny. JR. John Porton says, gotta say I'm looking forward to going through the Born Again books. Yeah. Yep. Issue by issue. I think we'll do issue by issue. I won't do the whole book. And also, I don't even know if I can or should in terms of copyright and stuff. I won't read the whole thing. I'll look at it, issue by issue. I was trying to set up to see how that would go. I got to figure it out. I'll do a live one. It'll be live because I want to the interactions of you guys on there, and I want to. I got to figure it out. I have a place with a certain, what's it called? A material that sucks the light. There's no reflection on there, so it does a good job. This is Romita Sr. Panel page art. Another Romita Sr. Spidey Super Stories. Doomsday at the UN. Romance comic by Romita. It's great. Another romance comic by Romita. Damn, look at that hair. This is the 60s. It has to be. John Buscema and Romita. It says just Romita, but I think John Buscema penciled the inside. So it looks like Romita did the cover. It's great. Early romance comic by Romita. That one was a later one. It's part of the 50s here. Late 50s, probably. Look at this. He said he had a whole list of pictures and pages of actors and celebrities and all those that he used. John said we can figure out together. The chat is patient. Yeah, I just want to get it right. I'm sure you guys can see the pages clearly, and I want to engage with you guys as we go over it. This is good stuff, man. Those romance comics by Romita. That's a little different looking there. The inking, I don't think that's Romita inking. Looks like someone else took that on. This isn't more like it. This is more like Romita inking. You could tell. A little bolder, a little thicker. What the hell, that guy's hair. It's probably the 70s. That is funny. Look at that profile. Very nice. Hiding in the bushes. Look at that. This looks more like a Romita Sr. inking over Buscema. That's what it looks like, at least. I know that they had done a number of romance comics, and this looks more like, the guy in particular looks more like Buscema and Romita inking him. We just saw that. Definitely Romita. I'm not sure if he inked this one. Romita, but I don't think he inked this. Definitely inked this. You can tell. It's great stuff, man. 70s, those bell bottoms, yep. That's a tell right there. Interesting. Yeah, look at this. Look at the line work. It's beautiful. Lady one says, my mom loved the old 60s romance comics. They have a bunch of these old romance comics at a local shop. I wish they would reprint some of those romance comics. Me too. I think I'm grabbing some from her from those days. Toth, Alex Toth also drew a number of romance comics. He enjoyed them, he said, because it was very challenging. You got the gamut of emotions and everyday people, not superheroes. Look at this. This is really good stuff. So beautiful. Huh. Breaking up the panels that way. Interesting. I didn't know he was into that. I know Neil Adams was into that. I'm not that into Neil Adams. It might be sacrilege for some, but I don't buy it. Some of it was good. A lot of it, no. And his writing, whoa. Oof. Bad. But this is great stuff. Look at that. Look how beautiful. So cute. And all the drawing is just impeccable. Everything looks just right. There's no credits, the ones that I've seen, but for him, you don't need credits really. You don't need for Romita Sr. Look at this. John Buscema, and I believe inked by Romita. I'm not 100% sure because I know that some others inked Buscema, but this is really good stuff. John Buscema, look at this. That's some good inks right there on the guy's sweater. You could tell the changed the texture up to get that sweater up. Fleety one says, modern culture doesn't really know what heroes or love is, so no love story or songs till we get things turned around. It's interesting you say that because they had a comeback from Marvel. They had romance comics, if you recall, and they were being mocked. Jeff Parker and some others got together and they were mocking them. They were having like dialogue that wasn't of the old comics that they slapped on. Tutorial Slave says, given your appreciation for the intricacies of art, how subpar could the storytelling be for you to still cherish the experience of reading a comic? How subpar could the storytelling be? Well, for me, it's, I can appreciate certain artists no matter who's writing them, like Toth. However bad those stories were that he drew, and sometimes did. Sometimes when I realize it's a shit story, I just focus on the art. That's it. But overall, you want the full package, and ideally, you want the guy who draws it to write it as well. It's of one mind. It's of one piece. It has integrity, a lot more care. Because if you're going to write it and draw it, you're going to give a damn a little more. Miller at his best. Dark Knight, even though the art got wonky at times, the story was so strong that it carried it. It's like, okay, Batman looks a little off there, but let's roll with it. So even that, I could deal with it. I think if I get what you're meaning, Tutorial Slave. This was Gene Colan. Okay, interesting. Romita inking Gene Colan. Now that's a very different look for Romita because Gene Colan was... I didn't like some of his art at all. I thought his poses were weird and trying to be quirky and long legs and dragging oneself on the street. It was just like, what's going on here? The shadows misplaced. I don't know. Wasn't crazy about him. Even though someone online that I follow was posting some old romance stuff, which was good, by Colan, and I'm curious. This is Colan is inked by Romita Sr. He clearly used Sidney Poitier there for a model. And that looks like just a white woman that they inked, that they colored dark. Whereas he looks like a black guy. Her hair in particular, you could tell. Because if you take out the color, she's just some white woman. This is clearly John Romita Sr. inking over John Buscema. Something about Buscema. It's there. But again, it's not guaranteed. I don't know exactly. This is, now this is really good too. This is Amazing Spider-Man. Fred Kita or Kita. This is good stuff, man. This is somewhat like Romita Sr., but it is its own. Because he had picked up the strip after Romita left, and I like it. I like it. It's very good. Romita Sr. Cover designs, ideas, the back, the front, interesting. This is Romita Sr. inked by Bob McLeod. It's possible that that's what's going on here, because this looks like Bob McLeod right here. This does as well. That could be the case. I didn't like when people inked Romita. It never quite worked. This is John Romita, Hobgoblin, Spider-Man. Yeah, pure Romita, exactly. It is. Okay. Tutorial Slave. Okay, you definitely did. Thanks for the insightful take. I'm no expert myself and still feel entertained by Batman. Hush almost a decade after reading it, but have encountered several commentators claiming that it was mostly held up by its art. I think that's a case too. I don't think Jeff Loeb is a good writer. I don't think so. I think he caters and placates the artist. I think he tells Jim Lee, who do you want to draw? What do you want to draw, Jim? And Jim's like, Joker. This, okay, make a Joker story. He's not the engine. He knows he has this wild Bronco who's going to go wild on the art, so he'll just try to placate him. It's unfortunate. I have the special edition that because of the art, you know, Jim Lee did some good stuff in that. I liked some of the stuff. Does it hold up today, story-wise? No. And as the art sometimes, not really. That first shot he has of Batman, it was a poor man's version of Dark Knight Returns, even though it was drawn by Jim Lee. It was like he wasn't quite. He didn't know if he was drawing Neil Adams' Batman or Miller's Batman. It was a very confused thing. Very confused. And then he also makes the ears, which I don't like. I love the idea when you got Batman with the ears coming where his ears are. And it goes from that to there, right? It's in the back of the head. But then Jim Lee has him come here in the center. It looks wrong. If you look at it in profile, it looks flimsy. Like it can just fall apart. I don't like that. I like when it goes in the back of the head. The Christian Bale Batman was really good like that. I think the Ben Affleck one clearly was like Dark Knight version as well. It was like that. It made it look like more that it was part of the ear coming from there. That's what it looked like, at least. Not that the ear is all the way in the back of the head, but it's as close to it as you can see. But when it's in the center, it looks wrong. And again, it's Jim Lee was really exciting when he first started. Those X-Men comics were really good. The Shi'ar Empire, if that's what it is, they were really good issues, man. They were good. That first thing he did with Psylocke, and then he did Wolverine, Captain America. He was really good. I remember I was in a convention once years ago, and I think there was a guy showing off his art. It was really good. He was basically taking what John Romita Jr. did with that Rachel Summers comic where she came into full power with her Phoenix power, and he reinterpreted it as part of his pitch to Chris Claremont at this one convention. And he was an Asian guy, and I don't think it was Jim Lee, but it was damn good. It was damn good. This is Romita. It looks like it's inks, but I don't know 100%. That's a really good Peter Parker. Again, it has that consistency factor where his Peter Parker is always Peter Parker. His Harry, his Gwen, everyone looks great. Son of Origins, I like that, but the color version didn't quite make it. That's a great Hulk. Excuse me. That's a great thing by Romita. I love it. Look at that. Rounded out everything here, like big clumps of rock. I love the little touches also, the little dots here and there to show texture. Toth did that a lot for certain things, walls and stuff. This, this is great. Captain America, Misty Knight. Look at that. John Romita Sr. The inked and color version with a sharper quality here. Really good. He drew Captain America for a bit as well. Years after he did it in the 50s. Look at this. This is good, man. Namor with that funky suit, but still that's a really good. I like it. I don't remember this one. Barbie. I believe this is Barbie, as drawn by John Romita. It doesn't say Barbie here, but I believe it is. Or something else. Again, he was like, yeah, guys, you want me to make all the lines like McFarlane? You want me to fuck around with the eyes, make them big? Okay. But I'm still going to keep my live work. That's awesome. I do believe that Tutorial Slave. I think, and you know what? It says something about Jim Lee also. Think about this, guys. He starts off with Chris Claremont, and then from there, he basically doesn't give a shit. He writes his own stories. Not that good. Wildcats, pretty, just forgettable. The characters, the stories. And then he does something, comes back, Jeff Loeb, great writer? Absolutely not. Jeff Johns, his Justice League with him. Sorry. Yeah, Justice League wasn't that great. It was forgettable as well. I don't think he's concerned with having a great writer. And then he does that weird Batman, All-Star Batman with Frank Miller. Miller has come out since and said he's had a drinking problem for years. And I think he was drinking up there. And it was shameful because you got these guys, just stopping cold at issue 9. It was supposed to go on at least for a dozen issues at least, and never answering fans and just saying, fuck it. We're not going to continue this. And I don't know what that was about. But maybe health reasons. I don't know. Because, Miller went from looking, he's never been a good looking guy. He always looked a little fucked up, but went from his old fucked up look to death looking. What is this? Romita Sr. This is a limited edition presentation of 250 signed and numbered by the artist and author. And included in this edition is an original drawing by the artist. This is number AP of 250. AP. John Romita Stanley. I don't know what this is. I don't recognize these things. And that Punisher looks like a Romita, but I don't know. It doesn't seem to have a context here. Trevor says, Romance Comics had some real technicians of the brush. The style had to be slick or women wouldn't read them. Huh. Many of the great cartoons just couldn't work for the girly books. Right. They didn't want to. I'm surprised that John Buscema did. He's such a rough guy, such a tough guy. He was a boxer. He always liked drawing Conan and stuff, but it was beautiful. Beautiful. And he understood also, he used Vernalisi, as he said. Years later, I discovered Vernalisi because I was looking for a model for one of my characters. One of the characters that I was adapting, and I said, okay, most beautiful women in the world, and she was right there in the top. I was like, whoa. And I found out after that John Buscema told people, Vernalisi, that's it. That's like the model for him. And you can tell in some of the drawings he made of women. Hey, Diana. Diana says, hi, boss. Just wanted to pop in and say hey. Looking forward to your inaugural crowdfunding next Friday, February 21st. Much success to you, my friend. Thank you very much, Diana. I'm going to stream on my channel, and anyone else in Comicsgate, the Kings, they want to, host me, cool. But I don't want to put any pressure on them. If they're up for it, awesome. I think Ethan mentioned something last night where Katie did offered to host for the launch. I said, thanks, Katie. He goes, well, Katie, maybe we could all do it here or something like that. So we'll see. Tutorial Slave says, beautiful. So it's all about agency and an unwavering vision of where to take the character. I love that all it takes for you to launch into a cohesive, enriching rant is a little nudge. I always look, Tutorial Slave, this has become my life. I love it. I absolutely love, I can devour these things. And so, if you get something out of it, awesome. Thanks. D. Oberg says AP equals artist proof. Okay. Thanks, guys. All right, Flatey. Take care. Appreciate it. I'm going to go through a few more guys. And it's 1:55. Give me, 5 minutes. Let's make it a flat 2 hours. A few more here. This is Romita Sr. clearly. Hulk? Spider-Man, what is this now? What is this? Spider-Man Hulk Foley's? I don't know. That's clearly Romita Peter Parker. That Jameson doesn't look so much like his ear. It's an off ear. It's not something like Romita would do. This is good. This is clearly Gil Kane. And that other Vulture. And they had this very strange Spider-Man. The corner box. I don't know what they were thinking here. Look at it's terrible. Compared to what Romita was doing at that time. It was like a showcase. This is Romita. All Romita. 1982. A few years after he had stopped doing the comic strip. This is Romita. Art said, yeah, Ethan said he's down. Him and John want Pigman to do well. And I appreciate it. I do. I hope to get on with these guys, not take too much of the time, but at least I can get some eyeballs on it because I really want to go well on that first day. This is really good too. Look at this. Good inking work here. And from what I gather, I tried it myself. You take a razor blade and cut it into the paper once you ink it down, and it has that beautiful, beautiful look there. I love it. His Hulk was pretty good too. It was a little too muscled up. I love the slightly flabby looking belly, hairy arms, hairy chest Hulk that Kirby did. I have a video on that. And guys, if you could subscribe to my channel also, I would appreciate it. I really do. Trevor says, I'm betting when you launch, John would love to do a Pigman cover. His rate would be definitely worth it. Yeah, I mean, he mentioned that he wants to do a draw on a Pigman and send it my way. He goes, if Bosch would even want that. I'm like, John, I mean, please, I'd be honored. Would love to. If he has enough interest to do it and just to send me it, because he did buy an original piece I had with the Twin Towers as a tombstones with Pigman and his fist over it. I call it vow. He vows to end jihad. Not to get revenge on Al-Qaeda in a television way, end jihad at large. Make those fuckers scared to ever pull anything like that again. And, also, let's see what happens this Saturday, right? Trump told Hamas, you don't release them by Saturday, the hostages. I don't want the drips and drabs. I want you to release them all. And if you don't, watch what happens at noon, high noon. They shouldn't fuck around, these savages. This is another great piece here. John Buscema, John Romita. Great. That looks like Kirby inked by Romita. Is that possible? It's possible. Very nice. This is a very strange Romita. I don't see that as Romita. It looks like Romita inked by Joe Sinnott. It doesn't look like Romita inks. The other one was better. The one that we saw before. This is too tight. Too tight. Romita is inked by someone else, I believe. Romita, all the way. Hulk and Spider-Man. It's that one that we saw before. I don't know what that was for, though. It doesn't... I'd like to find out. Ron Friends and Romita. Look at that. The naturalness, so good. Only on his toes there. Which one? The Marie Severin Trevor, or because it doesn't look like John Severn. It could be. I don't like it necessarily. I just don't like it. It's way too busy. Even all this stuff here. No, not for the Hulk. Hulk should be like a big slab of meat. Not defined, not like a Thor body. A big slab of meat. Because that's what he is. He's a big id. You know, he should have a little gut. He should have the big forehead, short nose, upper lip, like an ape, long arms. This is all Romita. Interesting. A very different look. Yeah, I don't like that. It's a clean drawing, but man, what kind of gun is that, first of all? And what's going on with the white boots, the white gloves? Never liked it. Yeah. Romita. Look at that. Look at the line work. Beautiful. Even that, even the cake looks great. It's so nice. All right, guys. I think I'm going to get going. It's a little after now. It's been over 2 hours, I believe. Yeah, just about 2 hours. Let me stop at a real good one here. These aren't even that clear. Look at that. Again, guys, look at this. The cylindrical thing, the foreshortening would be that way. And then he changed it up here, if you notice. He's like, okay, it'll be here, and then I'll flip from that way to this way at this point. It's a lot of thought here, man. A lot of thought. I love that. He's the guy who did this also. He did that even in the ankles and the back of the foot. Really good. It looks like Friends ink. Romita inks over Friends. It's possible. It's possible. I don't know 100% though. I wonder where that's from. The quality here is not good, guys. Sorry. This has something to do with Romita for sure. Because you look at it. Yeah, it is Romita. Interesting. A little busy there. You could tell on Doctor Strange's face. Valkyrie's face. Look at that. Interesting. Okay, the Hulk. Marie inked a lot of Hulk in a Hulk parody for Batten. Is that right? Oh, yes. The cover or the inside as well? Did she ink Batten on there? Drawn by some goofball in his office. Hilarious. John says, I think the launching is going to go great. I hope EVS get a chance to read Pigman before Friday. Knowing how great the original was is a big help. That's the thing. Yeah, if he does read it, I think he might be more inclined. Later, Art. Take care. Be well. Diane Pryor says, a thick slab of center cut bacon. The Pigman come with. That's right. Something about the Hulk. He just needs to be, he's not a bodybuilder. He's not. He's a guy who goes from normal to big, and he should be wide and hairy and like a monster. I mean, that's what he should be like. Look how clean this is. It's not that great, though. I don't like when they have the middle shot for a lot. I just like the more, at least, drama. Look at this. This is Kirby and Romita. Kirby inked by Romita. You can tell. That's really good. Look at that. The hands, the nails, big time Kirby. Big time. Mary Jane, it's awesome. Huh. 60th anniversary, he's back. Robo Jim. I guess the Avon ladies are back. In the grip of multimedia madness. Sensational, powerful, daring, incredible. By John Romita Sr. Some kind of commission, I believe. That must be a hell of a thing to get. Someone to get this for someone. Robo Jim. That is fun. Looks like Friends and Romita. That's what it looks like to me. Romita for sure. Who inked it is the question. I seen Terry Olsen ink Romita. It doesn't quite work. It doesn't quite work. Check this out. Romita, Stark Industries. Interesting, huh? 70s, almost guaranteed. Not almost. Look at those bell bottoms for sure. That is fun. Stark Industries, Romita. Best wishes, Cap and Spidey. That's awesome. That's great. Look at that. All-time classic. We'll stop here. That is so good. I'll read a few more, guys, and then thanks for being here, guys. I hope it's engaging enough. I don't know. I'm just going through the Romitas. I think they're great. Father and son. I think they're fantastic. So that's where I'll stop for now, guys. And we can follow up again next time. I can't do it every day, but I can do a day here. Okay, Trevor says, just to cover. Mary Severin. If I remember right, she colored it too. It was my first cover job for him. It was my first Stark Industries home with the original disco ball. You had something to do with that as well, Trevor? You did some background work, right? Didn't you? For Batten and also the cover? If you just mention that here, I'd like to know. I love those stories. They were so damn fun. The demon who was taken over by a human. That's funny stuff. Funny. Thanks, Wingazingus. He says, these streams are great to put on while I draw. Very, very cool. Hopefully you don't have to look over too much, you know. Me too, Wingazingus. I hope the Pigman launch goes well as well. You don't know. You just don't know. Pigman's been around for 20 years now. You know, in some form or other. On my blog, in my sketches, in Propaganda 2009, the first print edition of Pigman. 2005, I debuted him at the San Diego Comic-Con. I had drawn him prior to that, but I just debuted him for the first time ever. When will comics take on Jihad? When Pigman flies. That was the pitch. Okay. Trevor said, yeah, I would ghosts and pencils here and there. Very cool, man. They were so fun. Batten's comics were so fun. Man. John says, I believe the time is now. I think so too. I think everything has come to a head now with Comicsgate and Comicsgate Kings and being part of this wonderful group. And yeah, it's awesome. You guys have been great. Guys, thanks a lot. Thanks for being here. Thanks for indulging me. I will go through other artists at times also. I got a lot of Toth short stories that I will go through. They'll be shorter streams, but really good because we'll get to go through Toth and his choices and story. Trevor says, I ghosted a ton of them in the Stephen King parody and the Wolf and Bird movie story I did. The Fran Miller story. Was there a Fran Miller story? Is that a little pun there? Or Frank Miller? Did you mean Fran? Was it a female version? It's heartbreaking, you know. Batten. I remember I visited him, you know, not long before, and I went to hug him, and he wasn't a hugger. He was like Jerry Seinfeld. He doesn't like shaking hands or hugging. He's like, yeah, thanks. No, it's funny. I hugged him anyway. I said, yeah, whatever. Love Batten. Very, very tough loss. Yeah, Fran Miller. That would have been funny. John Porton, when are we starting Born Again? No particular time. I'm going to finish this Jeremy Jr. stuff. I thought about doing some Toth, and then maybe after that. Issue by issue. It's 7 issues. But then you have the other one as well. It's 227 to 233, but you have the 226 where Frank Miller came back and wrote at least a dialogue and some of the plot. I think it was a little Denny O'Neil, a little him, and then full bore Frank Miller Apocalypse. So I guess we could do that, even though they tend to publish now, which is interesting. They publish 226 at the end of 233, not before 227, because they want to start. I guess that's the main story. But there's a little something there where you can get the attitude that Daredevil has in there. He's pretty down. He's pretty bitter. To think about his past, he's pissed off at Stick for never showing him any grace. He's on that rooftop. It was interesting. He was like, here I am, jumping over rooftops and I stop cold. And he says something like, for my age. It was from my age. Because I'm a young man. Why am I even thinking about that? It's good stuff. It's really good to bring that kind of thoughtfulness to superhero stories. It would have been funny. Anyway, Brettsy the Great. Salute, chat. Salute, Bosch. These Romita streams have been awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Elifius. Thanks a bunch, Bosch. Been enjoying these a lot. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. You don't know exactly. You get the chat, but sometimes maybe, I don't know. This is now the fourth one. I'll have to name it the fourth one. The fourth Romita. Travis Parrick says, do you have the Romita issues of Back Issue magazine? I don't know. I probably do. I have some issues of the Romitas together, some of those magazines. I have some issues of John Romita himself. I have the Art of John Romita. I think it's called the Art of John Romita. I don't think it says Art of John Romita Sr., but it might. Him and his son had that funny back and forth. It was, I'm John Romita, okay? You know what? Let me show you 1 second. I got it right here. Yes, it says the Art of John Romita. So he was basically saying, hey son, okay, you're something else. You're John Salvatore something. The Art of John Romita. It's great. Look at this one. John Romita Sr. laying down. His wife's like, John, what'd she say? Here I go. Need this. She goes, John, where's that Marvel Age cover? Virginia Romita. So funny. That's great. Look at that. Great stuff. This was Romita doing the Fantastic Four. It's so funny. Kirby bolts on the Fantastic Four, issue 102. John Romita Jr. comes and does 2 issues, and that's that. It's like, what the hell? I never heard what happened behind the scenes, but within a very short period, within 2 or 3 issues, John Buscema came in, was the regular artist on the Fantastic Four. But it was good. I mean, look at this. He was trying to channel Kirby a little too much, I think. He tended to do that, the old school, like, I'm going to draw like Ditko for my Spider-Man. I'm going to draw like, John, you're so good. You could just draw it like you draw. I think he lacked confidence. I think he was a great artist, but lacked confidence. He was such a nice guy from what I gather. A pretty liberal guy. But I don't know if he understood his full worth. That's very dramatic stuff there, Captain America. Look at that. Very, very dramatic. Those first drawings he made of Wolverine. The first drawings he made of the Punisher. Look at this. Like a Peanut style. Peter Parker, Harry Osborn, Mary Jane, and Gwen. Look at that. How cool is that? That is so cool. Look how dramatic that is. Stunning. Beautiful. First sketch of Mary Jane. Look at that. Damn. He had it down from day one. Look at that. Beautiful. A different version of that. Look at that as well. Right here. How cool is that? Very different hair there. He said issue 109 and I believe 108, 109 were okay. Okay. The entire issue 109 is republished here in this book because he holds that issue 109 was his favorite of all. And Milton Caniff was one of his heroes, Tyrion and the pirates, and he wanted to bring a lot of that to this. And he said he was using brushwork in this one, as opposed to his other stuff. You know, look how rich it is. I think they recolored it for this edition also. So you get to see this real great comic art with better color than had been done years before. It was interesting. But he looks at that, it's like, the guy did so much great work, but he looks at only one issue as the real. It's like, damn. What standards must you have to do so many issues of Spider-Man and you only pick this one to say, yeah, that's the one where I really brought it. Because he laid on the brush inks really hard, more so than the other ones. I think he had been using pen on the other ones. But look at this. And the color really, the modern color helped here big time, because it didn't overdo it. It didn't overpower, but it was just a better color than they had used back in the day. And look at Gwen. Look how beautiful. She was such a sweetheart also. The way they had written her, she was such a pure, which is why when they killed her, it was very, very heavy. But this is great stuff, man. This is great stuff. And again, they did redo the color. You could tell that it's different from the original thing. Just one thing also, something that I mentioned in the video that I have where I'm drawing, where I show and tell of the Spider-Man. That's not the way it would be, the lines, if it's that way. And Alex Ross makes sure he lets us know, because like it's going to be realistic. No, this is the way an artist would do it, because the lines would go the other way, but they look limp and stupid. This way, it looks great. It's going against the grain, and it just looks fantastic. Something as simple as that. But that takes a great artist to think of things like that. So this is, I got this years ago, man. I don't know when, but man, years ago. It's great. The art of John Romita. They didn't mess around with John Romita Sr. They just said Romita. All right, guys. I'll read a few more here, and then Trevor says, my favorite Wolf and Bird has pages by Frank Cho and a conclusion by Basil Wolverton's Kid. Wow. Frank Cho did do something in there. Wow. Trevor Neal said, mostly I drew coffee cups, phones, and buildings. Hey, man. You know, that's a start. The book should be called Romita's Harem. That's right. The one with all the women in there, where his wife says, hey, where's that Marvel Age cover? That was a Marvel Age cover. Hilarious. It's great stuff. And again, even when the editorial came in and said, okay, we're going to do the McFarlane thing, he's like, yeah, sure. I'll add some lines, but it still looks like a Romita. It still has that beautiful, perfect quality. He's like, DC had their Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and Marvel had John Romita. Even though one could argue, well, Marvel had John Buscema too. He wasn't as commercially slick as Romita was. And, Romita was a great artist, but he was also incredibly clean to the point where you could put that on anything and it looks perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right, guys. His first attempt at Spider-Man, Romita, guest starring in Daredevil when he was the artist for Daredevil. Daredevil number 16. It looked more like Ditko. The lines went the opposite way. Anyway, I can go on this for hours, but I'll be finishing up this thing soon, and then I think some Toast short stories, and then Born Again. And then Born Again. We'll go issue by issue. Guys, pleasure. Thanks for being here. You take care. Be well. Until next time.